Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and we have a problem. Treyarch has a problem, and above all else, Activision has a problem, because Black Ops Cold War is flopping commercially, at least compared to Modern Warfare 2019. So as news came out in the past few days, industry analyst firm Superdata revealed via Tom Henderson that Black Ops Cold War has generated $678 million in revenue over its first 6 weeks. Now, $100 million a week sounds pretty good to people like you and me, but let's compare that to Modern Warfare 2019. While Black Ops Cold War made $678 million over the course of 6 weeks, Modern Warfare 2019 made $600 million in its first 3 days. That is actually insane. Basically, what we can draw from this is that Modern Warfare made more money in the first week that it was out than Cold War has in a month and a half, and like Tom mentioned in his tweet, this is with Warzone integration in Cold War, which would obviously boost sales at least a little bit compared to if Cold War weapons were not allowed in Warzone. This is a huge problem for everyone involved. Let's start with us, because we're obviously more important than Activision and their bottom line. The reason why this news is troubling is because for us, if Activision isn't happy with the revenue that a game is making, they are prone to make changes. Whereas before, they removed supply drops, they got rid of virtually all exclusivity, they got rid of map packs, they got rid of season passes, all in favor of the battle pass system, which was very consumer friendly. Unfortunately, we may see the return of those other aforementioned systems if they are not happy with the money that Black Ops Cold War is making. We could see the return of something similar to a supply drop. We could see more exclusivity going towards PlayStation. We could see maybe paid map packs and paid DLC updates releasing, especially within zombies. We really have no idea. These things could definitely happen. This is a huge problem for us, because should this trend continue throughout the rest of 2021 and Black Ops Cold War continues to underperform sales-wise, we may see a rampant increase in microtransactions, DLC exclusivity, and paid content within Black Ops Cold War itself. This is also a huge problem for Treyarch, because Activision is going to look at them and wonder why they aren't replicating the same success that Infinity Ward had last year, even though I personally would argue that the main problem here is not Treyarch's fault. Right, I would say overall the biggest reason why the game is not selling, and this is just of course my own personal opinion, but I feel as though the reason why the game isn't selling as well and is not generating as much revenue as before is because of Activision themselves and their incredibly asinine skill-based matchmaking patents. They designed this stuff for Modern Warfare as a way to appease a whole new target audience and protect new or low-skill players, but here in Black Ops Cold War the system seems to be really ramped up. I think it's entirely within the realm of possibility that mid to high level players are leaving Black Ops Cold War because skill-based matchmaking makes the game feel more like work as compared to the relaxing experience that it should be, and I also think that these super low-level / casual players are not spending nearly as much money this year as they did in Modern Warfare, perhaps because they just prefer Modern Warfare, perhaps because they prefer Warzone, or perhaps they just don't enjoy the core design of the Black Ops Cold War multiplayer. I think that's definitely a real possibility. While wading through the sweat-filled swamps and jungles of Black Ops Cold War, I found that the core game, at least for me, is a lot better than a game like Modern Warfare. It feels much more to me like an old-school Call of Duty title. Gunfights are slightly longer, maps have less safe spaces and make a bit more sense, Dead Silence is available as a perk, and in general, there are a lot less things that help a bad player literally hide from other players within a given match. Perhaps after experiencing Modern Warfare 2019 and then moving to Cold War expecting a similar experience, those low-level / casual players were disappointed and went back to Infinity Ward's product. I don't know, it's definitely a possibility, but regardless of causation, the reality of the situation is Black Ops Cold War has the strictest skill-based matchmaking systems that we have ever seen in the Call of Duty franchise, and the game is selling a lot less than initially predicted. Right? Are those two related? And obviously, like I mentioned earlier, this could end up leading to sweeping monetization changes in the game throughout 2021, but let's go ahead and try to look at this from a positive perspective, right? One positive scenario that could come from this is perhaps Treyarch would really put the pedal to the metal to releasing new content for this game. I'm talking about a huge upspike in zombies maps and zombies content, maybe 4 or 5 new multiplayer maps every single season, maybe 4 to 5 new weapons every single season, even more good good content on the Battle Pass, right? There's so many things they could do. They could bring back game modes like Demolition and Gun Game. There's a lot they could do to really revamp the multiplayer and to make it more exciting, right? So perhaps they would keep skill-based matchmaking, but really work to make the game as jam-packed with content as it possibly can be, and then perhaps that would right the ship, so to speak, for Black Ops Cold War. Another scenario, and honestly this is the scenario that I'm hoping plays out, is perhaps Activision finally decides to address skill-based matchmaking and make an announcement of its removal. Doing so would honestly be the biggest news in gaming, and it would be the biggest news in gaming for probably a long time. This would be discussed all over the internet for weeks, if not months, and obviously it would be amazing for fans who actually care for the franchise and have invested so much of their time and their money into it over the course of the past 13 plus years. I think if they were to make a big spectacle out of removing skill-based matchmaking from Black Ops Cold War, that it would be huge for everybody. I think that would cause so many people to buy the game for the very first time, it would cause a bunch of people to go back to the game, and it would cause many people across the board to spend lots of money on things like the Battle Pass and the in-game shop, because we finally have a fair monetization system, and skill-based matchmaking would be removed, right? It would basically be the most ideal scenario in the Call of Duty franchise. All I know is something is going to happen soon, and something has to happen, because if there's one thing I've learned over the years, it's that Activision is not complacent when it comes to their revenue stream. If a Call of Duty title is not selling well, something happens. They are going to do something, whether that's the immediate release of Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer remastered, or a complete overhaul and revamp to the monetization system, or whatever else. There are so many possibilities here, but they're going to do something, right? They're going to do something if the current trend in Black Ops Cold War sales continues, and I'm actually pretty worried about that. We could see some positive things come from this. We could also see a lot of negative things come from this, and I'm going to wrap up this video by passing the question off to you guys and ask, why do you think Cold War is not selling well right now? Why are its sales so much worse than Modern Warfare 2019? And what do you think Activision and Treyarch are going to do to remedy the situation? I am very interested to read your feedback down in the comments, because keep in mind the Season 1 mid-season update will be happening in just a couple of days, so perhaps some big things are going to be announced then. Perhaps they're going to push up content from Season 2 here into Season 1 just to kind of front-end everything and then kind of make up the revenue later. There's so much they could possibly do. I would love to hear your thoughts and feedback down in the comments. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, consider leaving a like. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.